Hey friends, it's Len down at 1A Auto. Today we're going to be working on a 2016 Ram 1500. We're going to kick some butt doing a PCV valve. It's going to be a very easy job. I want to be the guy that shows you how to do it. So here we go. We got the hood up. We're going to come over here. What we're going to have to do is we're going to remove this air intake system right here. So first what I like to do is remove any electrical components to make sure that we don't put any tugs on any wiring. I'll just put it down and out of the way. We're probably going to have to move it again because we're going to have to relieve pressure from here. But anyway, our next step, there's a clamp down here that holds the air intake system down to the intake right there. So I'm going to grab my little 8mm. If you have access to something like this with an extension, it might be helpful. If not, you can just try to get there. Either way, you're going to remove this clamp. We don't need to take it all the way off. We just need it to be loose enough to be able to get that air intake hose up off. You can also use a flathead screwdriver. It's all preferential. I like to use a socket. Okay, I'm gonna grab it, give it a little wiggle, comes right up. We'll take a peek inside. Just make sure that there's no dirt, debris, water, anything like that. And we wanna make sure that nothing gets in there also. So if you end up dropping a nut or a bolt, make sure that it doesn't get in there. I'm gonna grab a rag. I'm just gonna cover that real quick. We're gonna come over here, we're gonna remove that. Some people say you don't need to cover it because the butterfly is closed anyway. You know, that's up to you. Why risk it, right? I'm gonna come over here, I'm gonna grab this hose. I'm gonna try to wiggle it around, see if I can break it free. There we are. Next, I'm gonna relieve these clamps. If you have access to a small screwdriver or even a pry bar of some sort, or a screwdriver, you can go ahead and do this. Basically, we're just pulling the clamps away from the box itself. There should be one on the front, two on the side, and one on the rear. I can't see it, but I'm just gonna try to see if I can grab it. There we are. I'm gonna grab this. I'm gonna push it this way while lifting up, and I'll show you why. Under here, there's these holes. In the other part of the box, there's little male ends. Those go into this side. So that's the reason why I had to lift up and push over to slide those out. Now we can take our system, we can remove it. We can also take a peek at this sensor while we're here. We'll just make sure that the connections aren't corroded or green or any funny color that they shouldn't be. Metal's always a nice color. You can look inside, you can see what the sensor is supposed to look like in there. If it looks like it's dirty, black, gunked up, you can either replace it or clean it with a special cleaner. That's a service for another day. I'll set this aside safely. Next thing I like to do, some people won't say that you have to do this at all, but I do it. I'm gonna get this air filter right out of the way. The reason for that is because while I'm working up here, if any dirt or debris falls in this part of the air filter, well, the air filter is not gonna be filtering that because this is the side that the air comes sucked in through the air filter box, right in through here, comes up through your air filter, all these little fins right here, they collect your dirt and debris. Anything that's on this side, well, that's just getting sucked up into your engine. Let's be safe. We'll put it out of the way. I'm gonna grab this cover. It's gonna be very simple. I'm just gonna lift up. There we are. On the rear, there's no things to lift up. That's kind of more of a pull out. So here we go. I'll show you under here. We got two rubbers. Those go onto a prong right here. And there's another prong over here. The reason why I had to pull out is because there's prongs on the backside, and those go into the backside on the engine right there, or onto the intake, I should say. So we're gonna set this aside. We'll move on to the next step. Okay, so here we go. We get that removed over there. We're gonna come over to the battery side, making sure that the key's in the off position or completely out of the ignition, preferably. We're gonna come over to the negative battery terminal, which is the side opposite than the red, okay? We're gonna use a 10mm. We're gonna turn this nut counterclockwise to remove the negative battery terminal from the battery and set it aside, making sure that it can't come free from wherever you put it and hit up against this negative. Once you start removing this, you don't wanna go off, on, off, on, off, on, off, on a whole bunch of times. Basically just take it off, get it away, keep it away. When it's time to put it back on, you might feel a little bit, or you might see and hear a little bit of an arc. Don't get worried and take it back off and then try to go again. Just put it right on, okay? Now we're gonna be very careful, making sure that the positive's completely covered. You don't wanna touch anything like from the negative to the positive. If you're using some sort of extension with a long ratchet or whatever you've got, and you bring this down and you touch the positive, well, you're gonna arc it out. You're probably gonna weld all the pieces together, maybe even get a little zap. Okay, friends, we got all this apart, cover's off. We can see where our PCV valve is, which is right here. It's got some words along here with an arrow. It says lock in the clockwise direction, so that means unlock must be in the counterclockwise direction. I'm gonna take a clean rag, try to clean off as much debris as we can real quick. You're never gonna get it all off, that's okay. Now what I'm gonna use, a set of pliers. You can use whatever type you might have. You can maybe even do it just by hand if you're strong enough. You're gonna take it, continue going counterclockwise. Okay, feels good. Here's our PCV valve. Now we can go ahead and replace this with a quality 1A auto part. I'll blame that on myself. All right, friends, so here's a quick product comparison. We have our old PCV valve from our 2016 Ram 1500 Hemi and our new quality 1A auto part. As you can tell, they're both the exact same. You got the little handle so you can grab onto. They're the same length. The new one's got a gasket on there. You want to make sure it has a nice gasket. If you're not replacing it and you're just cleaning your old one, you want to probably replace that gasket at least. But I would definitely replace this. It's cheap enough, it's easy enough, and this looks like it's a quality part. I would feel free to install this into my vehicle. So if you need this or any other part, you can always come down to 1aauto.com and check us out. Thanks. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and install our new quality part. We're gonna just check the gasket. If you have a little bit of motor oil, or if you have any silicone paste, you can go ahead and put a little bit on there. For the purpose of this video, I'm not gonna worry about it. There's still a little bit of oil inside there, I'm sure. It's gonna lube it up. So I'm just gonna go ahead, I'm gonna drop it in. We got these little prongs. So I'm gonna drop it in, I'm gonna turn clockwise. See if you can see, there's a little arrow here. It's gonna keep going down, 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 down. It's gonna get real tight at this point. If you're strong enough, you can go ahead and keep going. If you want, you can go ahead and use some pliers. For the purpose of this video, I'll just use some pliers. We wanna just make sure we stop right when it gets to the end. You don't wanna go any further than that, okay, friends? So now we've installed our PCV valve. We'll go ahead and install this cover back together, and we'll be all done. I'll grab my cover. Get it up on here. Let's take a look at it. Nice and beautiful. We'll look over here. We've got two prongs, okay? And two rubbers. The prongs go into the rubbers that are on the top of the intake in the back there. And these two rubbers that are on the cover, one goes here on this prong, one goes over here on this prong, okay? We've got this right here, just comes up through here. So it makes it pretty easy to figure out where it goes. On the top side, you'll notice there's a couple of arrows. These are so you can shoot a bull. Come right in. We're gonna come in from the top at an angle. We're gonna aim those arrows directly at those two rubbers back there. Try to work this in. Give it a little push if we need to. I'm gonna look underneath. I'm gonna grab this, get it up where we need it. Okay. Now as we come down, we wanna be trying to feel as we push. There's two rubbers that are up in here, right? They need to go onto those prongs. We should feel it, kind of like latch in a little bit. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. So we got this lined up. We still got our rag in here. We'll get our connector out of the way, bring it back up here so we don't forget about it under there, and whatever. Now we'll move on to putting on the intake. Okay, so here we go. Now I'm gonna take this out. We're just gonna take a double peek in there. Make sure nothing fell in there. There's no nuts, bolts, acorns, extra debris. You don't want to push on that butterfly. See if you can see inside there. There's nothing pretty in there to look at. Just don't push on it, okay? We're just cleaning around it. Now what I want to do, I'm going to take my nice beautiful air filter that I took out. I'm going to put it back in, okay? Should just go into the box. I'll come around here in a second. That clip out of the way. Nice, that looks great. Perfect. Okay. We've got our air filter housing. Got our connector right here. That goes to here, right? This goes onto there. This goes onto there. These go over these prongs. So here we go. Put it up on there. I'm gonna make sure that it bottoms all the way out. I'm not gonna tighten this clamp yet. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna get everything else situated, then I'm gonna tighten the clamp, and then I'm gonna do this. We're gonna do the electrical connector last. As we're shaking things around, we don't wanna give this any tugs. To do this air filter box, to put it back in, we're gonna need to lift this part right here up, this part down, scoop it in over these nubs, okay? So once you make sure you get all those in, and they are, I'm gonna push down with all my might. Not really all my might, but some of my might. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna lock down all these clips right here. There's 4 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes the ones on the side can be very difficult, especially when you're coming from this angle. This one's the hardest. You'll have to bear with me. Okay, we've got this right here. Just slides right on. We're just gonna give this a little wiggle. That's the whole box moving inside the rubbers, so that's good. It's supposed to do that a little bit, but we wanna make sure that this part of the box does not lift up. If it lifts up, you probably missed your slots. If you don't get it in the slots, it's not gonna make a good seal. You're gonna be sucking dirty air past the air filter, so the air filter is gonna be useless. It's gonna come up in here, and it's gonna ruin basically everything we just did underneath there, okay? So now I'm gonna come back around the front side of the engine. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna tighten up that clamp. I'm gonna use an 8mm with an extension and a 1/4" ratchet. You can also use a flathead screwdriver. Flathead might slip a little bit. You're probably not gonna get it very tight. I would just go with an 8mm, save yourself the hassle. Now we're gonna take our little electrical connector and plug it in there, okay? So I've got my little 8mm, got a swivel extension, or a swivel on my extension with my 1/4" ratchet. We don't need very much leverage. We're not going all the way out here with a nice long ratchet. We're just gonna snug up this clamp so we can't move the hose. The hose is all the way down, we confirmed. You can get at this however you want to. You might not even need to use an extension and a swivel and all that stuff. This is just my preference. You do you, boo-boo. Okay, and get this snug. Feels like it's getting snug. Just give it a little bit more. Should be pretty good. I'm gonna grab it, wiggle it. If you can grab it, wiggle it, and it pops right off, no, put it back down, tighten it up a little bit more. Okay, I'm gonna take this. Oh, by the way, if you tighten up that clamp too much and you feel it strip out, bonk, bonk, and all of a sudden it's not tightening anymore, you need to replace that clamp. You can get them anywhere, but you need to replace the clamp. This needs to be tight. You do not want any dirty air getting past your air filter, getting sucked into your engine, okay? So here we go. Clamp, click. There's no lock on that one. Give her a tug. We'll just double check all of our electrical wires here, make sure nothing's flopping around, it can't get into the serpentine belt. We didn't leave any tools under here. We'll check all up along the cowl. I still got some stuff, but that's, you know, I'm not there yet, but that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna double check everything now, okay?
Thanks for watching. Visit 1aauto.com, your place for DIY auto repairs, for great parts, great service, and more content.